Well, you know what day it is. Double daily upload time. There'll be a few of these for the next, like, maybe week or two. Because, well, I need to get these videos out. I've been slacking lately, man. I've been slacking. These videos haven't been flowing like they used to be doing, man. It's like 6 o'clock p.m. right now. Gonna go in, have some dinner, have some delivery. See me there soon. So let's record this video real quick. Talking about how to grow peppers in your garden. Peppers are best grown above, like, I'd say, like 4A. And you're above that zone, you'll be good to go. Probably even below that could probably grow it as well. I'm just saying, that's where they grow best. I'm in 6B, and you're most likely in a higher zone than me as well. So comment down below your growing zone. I want to see what your zone is at, so that way I can help give you some plants and recommendations. I'll leave you some recommendations down below. Let's get into it. So first of all, like most plants, you want to plant them around 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch into the ground. Although this severely varies based on the type of seed you're going to get. So always remember, with these types of plants, you need to look at your seed packets. Because, oh, believe me, your seed packets are the biggest piece of information that you could probably receive about these. Because some of these seed packets are only brand specific, so they'll give you the information you need. But on average, every single pepper, whether it's like homegrown or not, typically needs about 1.5 to 2 inches of water a week. So that's what you should give them. And you should space them, I'd say, if you're going to plant them directly in the ground, I'd say I'd space them probably like 6 to 12 inches apart from each other, probably even more, like maybe 12 to 18. But if you want to put them in pots, then you want to space them out 18 inches apart when they're actually in the garden. So measure 18 inches in your raised beds or whatever. We do in-ground. Most people do raised beds, but raised bed gardening is really efficient for the smaller yards. This type of gardening is more efficient for like people with like much larger backyards. So that's something to consider. But if you want to do in-ground gardening, cool. It requires a bit less material. I know, I'm joking. Look at all this material it requires, though. You could make a makeshift fence maybe. But back to the point, though, about 18 inches apart from each other in your raised bed or whatever. And then if you're going to plant them directly in ground, like maybe you want to start out earlier with that, then it's cool. On average, it'll take like 3 to 4 months to begin getting some produce from it. You'll notice the flowers begin to form much early on, believe it or not. Oh, my dogs are fighting down there. I don't know what they're fighting over. Probably like something really minuscule, but you never know. So you want to start it out just like that. You want to start it out, give it a little bit of time, about 3 to 4 months, around 100-ish days, a little bit under 100 days, and you'll get your first harvest. Now here's something to remember when you're growing peppers. How to harvest them is quite simple. Go into your kitchen, grab your little pair of clippers. They're not like the big hedgers, they're like the smaller ones, and then you clip the thing off. But how do you know when to harvest them? It's actually really simple. Let me show you. So to actually harvest these, what you actually need to do, not to harvest, wow, I'm stupid, but like to know when to harvest them, all you got to do is know this. When you need to know what variety it is. You usually have yellow, red, and orange. You don't get green peppers. Those are not a variety. If you want to get green peppers, however, you're like, yo, how do you get them in the store? They're like genetically modified? Nope. Believe it or not, they're just peppers that just developed. They're one of the varieties. You can just clip them off, but they're still going to remain green peppers. But it'll take a little bit of a waiting game. You have to play the waiting game to harvest the rest of them. You're going to want to wait until you see absolutely no green or very little amounts of it. And they're scattered and not in just one location. Now here's something to remember. Back in the summer of 2020, I have some good memories back then, man. When we harvest them, we like took like when we cut them in half, you notice these tiny little worms. I believe they're cabbage tuber worms, and they are a pain into you know what, because they do like literally nothing. They burrow in there, makes the pepper unusable. So always cut into your peppers, or at least check to make sure no other peppers are affected before you sell them. But I recommend washing them like most people do if you're going to sell them for produce, or if you're just going to keep it for yourself to live a sustainable life. Always cut into it. Then you know for a fact that's nice and safe. You don't want to use pesticides, but if you do, be my guest. I don't care what you actually use. We don't usually use pesticides. We use natural methods over here, which is called taking the beetles off the plants, put them in a soapy mixture, and dumping them well away from the garden. Or feeding them to the chickens right on the spot. Chickens are a great way. Now, some general tips and tricks. You can use fertilizer of any form, especially chickens. If you have chickens, great form of fertilizer there. Fertilizer. Depends on which type of, now, not fertilizer, compost, but yeah, like fertilizer for the ground. It depends on which one you want to use for like actual fertilizer for. Up here we're at 10-10-10 fertilizer. It could be anything for you. It all depends on where you're posted up, like what's your growing zone, whatever. and that'll determine whether you need this type of fertilizer or not. Look all this stuff up, man, because I can't give you a specific one. I can't recommend one of these to you because you're probably in a different location. But if you're in like Falls Village, Connecticut, that area, or even just northern Connecticut in general, 10-10-10 typically works for most plants. If you enjoyed, be sure to click the video on the screen, man. I got you covered with some more how to grow videos on the screen right now. So if you're interested in this sort of stuff, you want to see any of these, got you covered, man. Tons of these videos all over the channel. We'll be doing a lot of stuff this year. We already covered a lot of these. Be sure to stay tuned for more coverage as the week proceeds. So be sure to click that like and subscribe. And anyways, I'm out here, guys. Subscribe.